She stood at the mirror, adjusting her lipstick, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "My ex is coming to my birthday. Be cool, or it's over." I watched her reflection, the way her eyes didn't flinch when she said it. Just a command, not a request. I smiled, the kind of smile that hides too much. "Of course," I said. "I'll be very cool." Outside, laughter leaked in from the hallway. Her friends, her world. Mine, apparently, was shrinking by the second. Something inside me stilled, like a switch flipped. It wasn't jealousy, not even anger. It was recognition, the quiet realization that the line between marriage and performance had vanished, and I had been the audience all along. When the doorbell rang, she turned to me, nervous but excited. That told me everything. I already knew how the night would end, I just hadn't decided how cold I'd make it. He arrived holding a wine bottle and that cheap grin of nostalgia. She lit up, the kind of light I hadn't seen on her face in months, a spark meant for someone else. I shook his hand. His grip was confident, a little too familiar. He called me buddy. That was his first mistake. Dinner blurred into slow humiliation. Every laugh she gave him carved something out of me. Every touch, casual, passing, practiced, told me this wasn't Moo. The room was filled with people, but they blurred. All I saw was her glances, her little private smiles, her eyes daring me to say something. But I didn't. I poured wine, I smiled at his jokes. I asked him questions like a host, because silence is sharper than confrontation. I've always believed that the best revenge doesn't announce itself. It just walks out at the perfect moment and lets gravity do the rest. In the days before her birthday, the signs had already whispered their story. Late-night phone calls, muted screens, that sudden care with appearance only guilt inspires. I'd tested the ground quietly. Her messages were clean, too clean. Deleted threads, missing call logs, hidden apps. Only someone with something to hide cleans so thoroughly. So I watched patterns instead of evidence. Who she texted, when she smiled, when she turned her phone face down. I started tracking time. Calls made at 11:07 p.m. Laughter behind closed doors at 1:12 a.m. Shower at 2, always right after those calls. I never confronted her. I let her believe I was oblivious. Because knowledge without reaction is power. I even checked with a private investigator. He didn't need long. Her ex, weekends, a hotel downtown. The truth didn't hurt. It confirmed. I remember sitting in the dark that night, staring at the ceiling. No anger, just a strange calm. Like knowing the storm is over because it already destroyed everything. So when she told me he'd be coming to her party, I already knew what I'd do. She thought she was testing my pride. She didn't know she was walking into my quiet goodbye. Dinner, laughter, wine. The sound of her voice softened by nostalgia. I watched them from the edge of the room, detached. They looked like two people remembering who they were before life got in the way. Maybe that's what betrayal really is. Nostalgia weaponized. She caught me watching once. Her expression flickered, unsure if I'd seen too much. I smiled again. That terrified her more than anger ever could. Later, when she went to blow out her candles, I whispered, "Make a wish." She smiled, eyes closed. And for a second, I think she wished for him. That was all I needed to know. When the doorbell rang again, a late guest, I volunteered to answer it. It was him, stepping out for air earlier, now returning. I opened the door, met his eyes, extended my hand. "She's all yours, man," I said quietly. I was just leaving. I didn't wait for a response, didn't look back, just walked past the sound of the party dying behind me. Because sometimes leaving is louder than shouting. I walked down the hall slowly, letting the silence stretch. Each step was a release. Behind me, I could already hear her voice, sharp, confused, rising. What did he mean by that? Then the shuffle of feet, the abrupt stillness that follows realization. She would turn to him. She would ask questions she didn't want answered. And he, smug in his wine-soaked arrogance, would tell her that he'd been seeing her behind my back, that I'd known, that I'd just let it happen. That's what would break her, not guilt, but exposure, her performance collapsing in front of her audience. I didn't need to see it. I'd written the ending already, and she'd perform it perfectly. Outside, the night was cool, empty streets, no music, no noise, just me. I walked without direction, hands in pockets, pulse steady. I wasn't leaving her for someone else. I was leaving her for myself. People think revenge is about making someone suffer. It isn't. It's about reclaiming silence, control. She'll replay that night 1,000 times. She'll try to rewrite it, understand it, fix it. But she won't. Because I never raised my voice, never accused, never fought. I just walked out of the story she thought she was directing. And that's the moment she'll never forgive herself for. Final line. I didn't lose her that night. She just realized I was never hers to begin with.